History confirms the accuracy of Jesus' prediction. During the 1st and 2nd centuries, the circuses of Rome were used as theaters in which Christians were slain by gladiators or fed to the wild beasts. The Christians were stripped of their possessions and driven from their homes. During the following centuries, referred to as the Dark Ages, historians estimate that no less than 50 million persons lost their lives. It was an era of great tribulation. Prophecies in the books of Daniel and Revelation speak of this time of persecution as a specific time period covering 1260 years. This prophetic time period ended at the close of the 18th century, cut short by the Protestant Reformation and the discovery and settlement of America. Jesus said, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven." John the Revelator was shown the same events. "And lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth." Historians give this account of the fulfillment of these predictions. In the year 1755, on November 1st, the most terrible earthquake recorded up to that time occurred, commonly called the Lisbon earthquake. However, it extended over 4 million square miles, reaching America and Greenland. The most extreme violence manifested by the shock was in Spain and Portugal. Sir Charles Lyell gives this account of the quake. "A sound of thunder was heard underground, and immediately afterward a violent shock threw down the greater part of the city. In the course of about 6 minutes, 60,000 persons perished." The next event to take place in this sequence of signs in the natural world is described by John. "And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." On May 19, 1780, the prophecy was fulfilled. The Dictionary of American History carries this entry: "The dark day, May 19, 1780, in New England. The sun rose clear and bright. At about 9, darkness gradually developed. That evening the moon appeared blood red, and the earth was wrapped in impenetrable darkness." Religious people thought it a direct fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Scientists conjectured its cause to have been smoke from fires on the frontier. An eyewitness gave this account: "I could not help conceiving at the time that if every luminous body in the universe had been shrouded in impenetrable shades or struck out of existence, the darkness could not have been more complete. Though at 9 o'clock that night the moon rose to the full, it had not the least effect to dispel the death-like shadows." Historians tell us that after midnight the darkness disappeared, and the moon, when first visible, had the appearance of blood. The next sign to be seen in the heavens is described by Jesus: "And the stars shall fall from heaven." On November 13, 1833, Jesus' prediction concerning the falling of the stars was fulfilled according to the American Journal of Science and Arts, 1834. The morning of November 13, 1833 was rendered memorable by the exhibition of the phenomenon called shooting stars, which was probably more extensive and magnificent than any similar one hitherto recorded. Probably no celestial phenomenon has ever occurred in this country since its first settlement, which was viewed with so much admiration and delight by one class of spectators, or with so much astonishment and fear by another class. The New York Journal of Commerce, November 14, 1833, commented, "No philosopher or scholar has told or recorded an event, I suppose, like that of yesterday morning. A prophet 1800 years ago foretold it exactly." John described the events that would precede the coming of Christ the second time. Notice: "And lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth." Where are we living in relationship to these events? Let's take a look at the chronological order of these heavenly signs and their fulfillment. The great earthquake, November 1, 1755. The dark day, May 19, 1780. Falling stars, November 13, 1833. The last of these signs took place almost 150 years ago. The next events to take place are described in the next few verses of Revelation. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? The signs foretold have been fulfilled. The next event to take place in this prophecy is the coming of Christ and the end of the world. Just as the people living at the time of the destruction of the city of Jerusalem saw the armies encircle the city and knew that it was a sign of the end, so the people who see these signs in the heaven should recognize the handwriting of God on the wall of time. God is trying to tell us that we are living in the last hours of this world's history. You would think that man would be preparing for Christ's soon coming. Instead, he is seeking his own pleasure, living for today, ignoring the catastrophic events scheduled for tomorrow. Each year, Americans spend $20 billion on sports and entertainment, $70 billion on gambling, and over $28 billion on alcohol and tobacco. American churches, on the other hand, report only $8 billion a year received in gifts and offerings. And we call ourselves a Christian nation? Paul said that in the last days men would be lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Paul continues his description of the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without self-control, brutal. Sounds like we're reading today's newspaper about happenings in hometown USA. Public health departments report a serious upswing of venereal diseases, saying the epidemic is a reflection of increasing promiscuity. The aftermath, soaring divorce rates and increasing numbers of alienated children. Statistics on marriage in America over the last century are alarming. 1870, 1 divorce for every 34 marriages. 1900, 1 divorce for every 12 marriages. 1930, 1 divorce for every 6 marriages. 1978, 1 divorce for every 2 marriages. Jesus said, And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Jesus compared the conditions on earth in the last days to the early biblical days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.